Live it up, live it up, live it up, live it up.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to KamiLog, the first KamiLog of 2018, by the way. Hope you had a great new year. Hope you had a great holiday season with some family, ate some good food, drank some good drinks. You know the drill. Had a nice break from your normal everyday grind. I got the flu. It was bad. It was bad. I was meaning to get this video up weeks ago. You know, I was enjoying my holidays, everything was going great, and then the flu snuck up, took me out full capacity for about 2 weeks. Even with medicine, I had all the meds, I went to the clinic, all that stuff. It still didn't matter. Feeling better now, feeling real good, because we're about to talk about my top 5 games of 2017. It's gonna be short, it's gonna be sweet, some amazing games, but first head on over to kamidahobo.com and take a look at my honorable mentions, the games that didn't quite make this list. Also, it shows games I didn't play yet, which I do have on my radar. I'm gonna play them, don't worry. I just haven't played them yet, so they've been disqualified. But with all that being said, let's get right into the top 5 games of 2017. Wow. Whew. All right, so to start off with number 5, it's a game that I thought would be higher on the list, but this is just a testament to how good the games were this year. And that, number 5, is gonna be Zelda Breath of the Wild. I do have the Wii U version, don't have the Switch version, but Zelda Breath of the Wild kind of spoiled me on open world games now. It gave you so much freedom, it really encapsulated that feeling that Legend of Zelda always should have, of just what's around the next horizon. If you can see it, you can do it, let your imagination run wild. But you mix the physics, you mix the weapons, you mix the kind of special features that different items can do, and you know, you can freeze things, and then the magnets, and all the stuff is remarkable. Just the way it comes together. I do have a few pet peeves on the game. I don't like how quickly weapons break. It reminds me of Far Cry 2. And Far Cry 2 made me angry all the time. It's not as bad in Zelda, but it's still a little but once you get used to it, once you understand, okay, this stuff's gonna break within 3 or 4 enemies, I gotta have a stockpile of weapons, it makes it okay. But the rain, there's certain parts in the game to where you're climbing and you gotta keep climbing, and the rain hits and you just fall. I mean, there are certain parts of that game that make you almost feel like it doesn't want you to play it, but then it just rewards you again with another sense of discovery. And you know, you go off the beaten trail, you go off the beaten path, and you see something new. Amazing stuff. It definitely makes the list. I just thought it would make it a little higher on the list. It does so much stuff perfectly and right, but then the things it does just kind of scratch at you a little bit and make it like, oh, if those things weren't part of this game, it would be 10 times better. But I mean, still one of the best 5 games of the year. So the next game on the list probably will make it higher once I beat it, and that's Nier Automata. God, this has been getting so much hype all year, it feels like I'm just kind of preaching to the choir. But I'm a big fan of Metal Gear Solid. I love the Metal Gear series. I love the kind of stuff that it did narratively, to where it integrates your gameplay decisions and the way you play the game into the story, and it makes certain plot twists happen and things like that. And so far, from what I understand, Nier does that probably better than any game on the planet. I haven't gotten there yet, but even still, I'm probably 7-ish hours in. The stuff that it's already talked about so far has me hook, line, and sinker. I need to go play more of it. I really want to go play more of it, just because being out with the flu, all that stuff, I wasn't able to. But the game is great. The character development is awesome, and the nuances of the world, and it's so interesting, and there's a lot going on. It's a full course meal. I mean, there's some heavy topics that get talked about, even in the first 3 or 4 hours. It gets kind of heavy. There's some haunting imagery, some incredible moments. I'm thinking of one in particular, to where there's a kind of a robot android that's rocking a baby. It's not a real baby, nothing's in there, but it has a little, it's mimicking what it sees humans do. It's real, I mean, just interesting narrative stuff that really just sticks with you. But yeah, number 4 game of this year for sure. Honest to God, if I beat it, I'm gonna get, I think there's 3 or 4 different endings, maybe 5. And once I get all of them, this could very well be my number 1. I mean, just from what I played so far, it's so great. I just can't give it number 1 simply because I haven't played the stuff that is really the meat and potatoes of it, if that makes sense. But yeah, great game. Nier Automata, stellar. So my number 3 game is PlayerUnknowns Battlegrounds. That game is wacky. It takes everything I loved about DayZ, gets rid of the hunger meter and the makes it a little bit more refined. Like, kind of, it doesn't get it as arcadey as like H1Z1 King of the Kill type stuff, but it still gets that nuance of Arma and that sense of you're actually taking the initiative. And then it puts you in the island, it puts you in the desert map, and then it starts shrinking on you super quick. There are some hilarious moments in that game. But everyone knows, you guys know, you guys watch it on Twitch, I mean, everyone does. It's one of those games that it's almost evergreen because of just the shenanigans that you can pull with it. I just think it reminds me a lot of why I picked Heroes of the Storm. What was it, last year that I did that? Because Heroes of the Storm took that League of Legends and Dota formula and then stripped out, you know, item buying and last kill or last hitting and like all that stuff, and just made it about team fights, which is what my favorite part of those games were. PlayerUnknowns Battlegrounds does that same thing. It takes Arma, it takes DayZ, it takes these other battle royale type games, it cuts away the fat and just gives you the, as soon as you land, look to your left or your right, you're gonna have a gun. You're gonna have a gun, you're gonna have a helmet, you're gonna have a backpack. You're gonna find that stuff very quickly. They don't hide it from you. Everyone has a gun within the first 10 seconds of a match, and it can get really tense. Awesome. I want to go play it right now. It's it's an adrenaline rush, and you know, I think I've made the top 5 like 20 or 30 times. Never got that chicken dinner though. Waiting on that chicken dinner. I'm gonna get it, man. Number 3 game of 2017 is definitely PlayerUnknowns Battlegrounds. So my number 2 game of the year is Prey. The first hour of Prey is better than a majority of games this entire year. The first hour of Prey, I could write a thesis on it. It's so good. It's so good. And watching it is one thing and you think, hey, that's pretty clever. But playing it is something else entirely. If you're a fan of System Shock, of the old Looking Glass studio like Thief, you've got Deus Ex, I mean, my favorite game of all time. The old school RPG mix of stuff, and more recently the BioShock games do it pretty well. But Prey really takes its time, and it's a slow burn, and every part of that game aids the game. Like, the space station you're in, every part of that, literally the inside and outside, is part of the overall narrative and the experience. And what you see is what you get, but you may think it's one thing, and then later on you find out it's something else. There's nothing tonally like it right now. This is a callback. This is a callback to the early 2000s, late 90s. This is the way those games used to be made. And it seems like a wild card. Not a lot of people are talking about Prey. But the people that are real into it, like me, are gonna talk all about it. Even play it for the first hour. Red box it if you have to. Just get that and you'll know within the first hour if this is a game for you or not. But does some super creative things. The story's great. Some of the enemies are a little generic, but the world itself and that world building and the way you interact with it and the way it gives you feedback and the way you feel empowered, but then you also feel like you're in constant danger. I can't compare it to anything. I mean, if you want System Shock 3, this Prey is it. Play Prey. It's almost perfect. It's so good. It's a classic. It's a genuine classic. Got to get my water for this last one. I might go off on a tangent on this. For me, Game of the Year kind of encapsulates what my taste is, of course, but the nuance of a developer to get an idea or a feeling or an emotion or something right that really resonates with me. So this is a personal list. This is subject to my opinion, but I adore games that remind me of games that I played growing up. And there's only one game this year that genuinely felt like a long-lost classic. Something that I missed out on, but made for current day. And that's Tales of Berseria. Tales of Berseria feels like one of my favorite PlayStation 1 RPGs that I never played. If you're a fan like I am of stuff like Breath of Fire 3 and 4, Star Ocean the Second Story, Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, and Eternal Blue, you play Grandia, Wild Arms, you have Xenogears. If those games resonate with you, Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, if those give you any impact, and of course all the Final Fantasies 7, 8, 9, then you get the PS2 era, if those capture your imagination, just buy Tales of Berseria. It does everything right. It takes the Tales series and it makes it a little darker, a little bit more revenge driven. You don't necessarily play the good guy or the bad guy. Everyone has their motives. It's very reminiscent of the type of writing that made Xenogears so good. There's so much to it. There's so much to that game. And as I played through all of it, I had a giant smile on my face. It was fun to play. The characters were on point. The music was perfect. Even the locations and the ebb and flow of going from one town to the other and then getting your side characters and they have their own backstory, and then the pacing was exactly the same as a PS1 RPG. And I was blown away because I'm a big fan of Tales, but I was not expecting this. I played Zestiria, I played Symphonia and Vesperia, like really all of the games dating back to Tales of Destiny 2, I think was the first one I ever played. This is the best one. Tales of Berseria is the best Tales game. I mean, it just is. I still have a soft spot for Symphonia, but Berseria is the best one. If I were to recommend anyone play a single game in the Tales series, it's this one. It captures that perfect match of everything coming together to make it greater than the sum of its parts. And that's a testament. It's a testament. It's a testament to the game design. It's a testament to just everything involved in it. I don't know what it is about that game, but from the first 20 minutes, I was in, and I was in a big way. And it rewarded me constantly. I wanted to learn every recipe. I wanted to get every skill unlocked. I wanted to, and I don't do that with games. I kind of play it a little bit on Twitch, a little bit on YouTube, talk about it a little bit, and then I'm done. Tales of Berseria, I wanted to play it forever. I'm gonna go start a new game soon, play it on Twitch because of how much I love it. It was easily my game of the year. And this is a year with Zelda reinventing itself, a System Shock 3, DayZ but good, and Nier, which is basically a crazy Metal Gear Solid game but condensed into one package. And Tales of Berseria was still the best. It's very rare that there are games that come out that completely get you. Like, that they made this game for me. And that's what Tales was for me. That's my top 5 of 2017. What are your top games? Let me know. Did you make a YouTube video? Link it. Put it in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. But yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope you had a very safe and happy holiday. Hope you did not get the flu. But I hope you also like this kind of different format. It's not as mobile as I wanted it to be, but also I'm also recovering from having the flu. Anyways, guys, that's my time. You know where to find me. You know where to hit me up. I appreciate all the support. 2017 was fantastic. Love you guys. 2018, baby, it's going to be even better. Let's get this party started. But until I see you again, which will be very soon. Peace!